Welcome back to the Grow Nutrition Business Podcast, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition Mentoring. At HSN, our mission is to help 1 million people take control of their health one step at a time so they can prevent and reverse chronic disease. I know we can't do it alone, which is why we created HSN Mentoring, a turnkey solution to help gym owners and coaches build, launch, and grow nutrition coaching programs to truly provide the full package in a house of wellness inside of their gyms. My name is Nicole Aucoin, and I'm the founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, home of CrossFit HSN and HSN Mentoring. In this podcast, you're going to learn how to take one step at a time to build a wildly successful, holistic, habit-based coaching program. In today's episode, we have Dr. Christina Migliara talking all about mindset, specifically understanding how to coach mindset and the skills that are involved. She talks about 5 skills. We talk about it not being a switch, more of a dial. Dr. Christina is an incredible asset. She is a gym owner, also a licensed mental health professional. Inside of her CrossFit gym, she has mental health services, nutrition, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit. She has physical therapy. She truly has a house of wellness. She is a wealth of knowledge, practices what she preaches, and she is a true advocate for prioritizing mental health inside of your gym. Healthy Steps Nutrition and Dr. Christina Migliara partnered together to release the Mental Fit and Mindset course. This is a standalone course, the first ever course for CrossFit gym owners and coaches to help you understand how to prioritize mental health and mindset. So today we talk a little bit about the updates around that course, but also giving you some practical tips to prioritize mental health inside of your gym. Hope you enjoy this episode with Dr. Christina Migliara. We will get to it right after this message. The Gym Accelerator Summit is right around the corner. April 18th to the 20th, we will be hosting our annual live event all around empowering health inside of your gym. Imagine gathering together with gym owners and coaches from, around the world. We have people from Europe coming over who are all in the same boat, really combining nutrition, fitness, accountability, and mental health to deliver a professional health coaching program inside of their gym. We have some amazing speakers on business, nutrition coaching, health coaching, leadership, all different types of topics. It's going to be so much fun. This event is not only open to HSN mentoring clients, gym owners, and coaches, but any gym owner or coach looking to develop more skills in prioritizing health inside of your gym. We would love for you to join us. We are already over 50% sold out of tickets. You can click the link in the show notes and lock in your spot today. All right, let's get to this episode with Dr. Christina Migliara. Dr. Christina, welcome back to the podcast.
One of my favorite places to be.
You're becoming more and more familiar with this thing.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, we have done a lot of updates to the mental health and mindset course, the mental fit course. So excited to talk about some of those updates today. But before we dive into it, I thought it'd be really fun to talk a little bit more about mindset. It's such a buzzword.
Biggest buzzword right now.
A lot of people are building coaching programs around it, but what is mindset?
So thanks to your team, by the way. I couldn't be doing this without an amazing team that you have. They've been so helpful, and it's been really fun to do together. But mindset is so much more than what we've been hearing. And the way we talk about it from a mental fit standpoint is looking at it as a skill and talking about it within 5 areas. So we talk about awareness, we talk about capacity, resilience, strength, and optimism.
Sometimes mindset is a little bit easier for some people than others, right? You've got a positive mindset, or you look at things half full, half empty. It's not a switch. It's not just like a light switch that you can be like, all right, change your mindset. Now you're good to go. Why should we not think about it in that way when we're working with clients, for ourselves and for our clients, actually?
Because again, when we're talking about skills, I think it's a little bit easier to understand, to get away from the switch mentality of just being on and off. And when we think about skills and skill building, we can see it more as a dial that we turn up and down. And so the more attention we give to skill building, the more we can dial in or tune in to those skills and harness those skills. And so we take the mindset and break it down into 5 areas, and we do specific interventions and exercises that help us to dial in or tune in to increase that skill. And there's lots of things that we do, things that we'll be talking about in this program and in the course that will help contribute to that. So you can think about a cup. I always talk about cups. People refer to filling the cup often. And that's just an easy visualization for a lot of people to get their minds around. And so you can just think about each one of those as a cup that you're going to be putting into and building, just like any skill. The more you practice it, the better you get at it.
Let's just take a deep dive into the first one, awareness. Like, what is awareness? Why do we need to be thinking about it? And maybe what's an activity that we could do to become a little bit more aware?
So awareness is the first step. And while these skills are not independent of each other, they have this synergy where they work well together. We do have a little bit of an order. We wouldn't want to just jump into trying to harness strength without being aware, right? So in most models and theories that you would speak to or have heard of, I'm sure that you've seen where awareness is the first step. So understanding what is going on, where you are at in your own mind, where you're at with your member or your client, where they are at, is going to be super important to understand how you're going to then map out a plan of action to take in order to build skills, in order to do anything, any kind of intervention or exercise. So we have to know where we are. We have to have an opportunity to come to terms with that. Not always something that makes us the happiest when we acknowledge it. So awareness, acknowledgement, understanding, but that is insight. And if we can think about awareness as information, the information gathering period, we can remove some of those bigger feelings we might have towards it because it may mean that we're not exactly where we want to be, and just think of it as what it is. And that then will give us the ability to map out or plan where we want to go from there.
There are so many different types of emotions, but I think most people understand just a few. Like, okay, how are you feeling? Tired, happy, sad? There's not much variance for most people beyond like a few basic, but there's actually a lot of different types of emotions. I know Brene Brown in her book, Atlas of the Heart, takes a deep dive into some of those, and awareness could even just be realizing, how are we feeling and how's our body internalizing that? Is our heart racing? How's our stomach feeling? What exactly is going on so that we can kind of take control of our own thoughts?
Absolutely. And so, you might reframe that to call that attunement. You're becoming more attuned to what your body is telling you, what your thoughts are thinking, and how your body is responding to that. And there's a physiological response to how we're thinking and feeling. And a lot of times we're caught in the autopilot syndrome, which we talk a lot about in the course. It's very easy to be, not in attunement with your body and what's going on, and not have that self-regulation of emotion and just be going through the motion. And you're going to miss a lot. And then all of a sudden you wonder why things are happening, why you're getting sick, why you're not progressing the way you want. And it's like, well, your body's been giving you cues the whole time, but you're not paying attention. And so if you're not paying attention, you're missing out on all that information to do something different and to hear what it's trying to tell you so you can feed the need. And that's really what awareness starts to do. It starts to tap into the emotions and the behaviors and the thoughts and give us some more insight, learn how to sit with that and get comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. It might even be just being comfortable with a positive association, like even what we might say happy, or when someone gives you a compliment. I know lots of people who have a very hard time accepting compliments and being okay with that feeling of feeling really good and contributing something good. And so it's little things like that awareness can become really insightful and very helpful for the mentor or the coach or the therapist to really guide where we're going to go from there.
What's interesting is sometimes when we get flustered or we're in a hurry or whatever, we say something or we respond in a way that we wouldn't normally respond. But if we were attuned and took a couple of deep breaths, we might respond in a better way and feel better. after we handle a certain situation. Um, what are some things, someone that maybe is on autopilot or just like going through the motions, what are some things, maybe an activity that they can do to just increase awareness?
Yeah. So as challenging as it may be, it might be starting with just some small amounts of time for mindfulness practices. Maybe they take a few minutes to get outside and get some fresh air. We're really good about getting caught up in what we're doing. As you mentioned, that's exactly what autopilot does. So structured breaks, small breaks throughout the day is a great way to start. A quick 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, go for a walk. We talk about how great it is that you can go for a walk after you eat, get some fresh air. So there's a multitude of benefits that come with that, not just from a nutritional standpoint, but even a mindset and mental health standpoint. And that will break up that autopilot. That will force you to kind of become a little bit more aware, because nature has a way of engaging our senses. And that's why it's so good for us to be outside in nature. And it can really force you to do some things that you don't normally do, which is to become a little bit more cognizant and aware of your surroundings. And you're like, oh my God, the sun feels so good on my skin. The air smells, so fresh. I love the sound of the birds. I'm relaxed. And that's where we're going with that. So just a little bit goes a long way.
I love it. I love that you brought up walking after meals, digestion. Also, there's so many benefits on the mental health side. I love it. We're heading into the holidays. The holidays tend to be a little bit tougher time for people's mental health. Why is that?
Yeah, it's not always Hallmark, right? It's not a Hallmark movie all the time. So for many people, the holidays can stir up a lot. And I actually see a very big uptick in my practice around this time. And we're talking about specific things, which is really interesting. The topics that typically come up, it's around stuff like grief and loss. So this may be a holiday where you aren't getting to spend time with, or maybe you've, had a recent loss and it's your first holiday without a particular person that's really special to you, a family member or friend. That can drop a lot of feelings. What is that going to look like? How's it going to feel without, so-and-so at the table with us? And getting ready mentally and preparing for that and all the emotions that come along with that loss. It's also, family can be difficult. You've got some people who get large groups of family members together, and that's overwhelming. Maybe you're hosting, maybe you're going to someone's house and there's, extended family members coming in, and there's always that one family member that's inappropriate or has no boundaries or can be very triggering for you, and how to navigate those challenging people that don't make you feel so comfortable. It could also be the fact that maybe you have to work and you're not going to be with family. So feeling of missing out and getting emotional to not be with your family like you normally would, because there's demands of work. So there's a lot of dynamics that come with the holidays that can be challenging and don't yield a lot of the positive emotions that we might see in your typical Hallmark movie. And so helping people to navigate through that becomes a challenge.
What are some things that people can do? Say it is the first time that having a holiday without a family member, or they've got the big gathering coming up. What are some things that people can do, listeners, that they can kind of prepare themselves a little bit?
Yeah. One of the things I always tell people is to set a boundary with time and have an exit plan. So knowing that, let's just say, for instance, you're going somewhere and you're unsure of how you're going to be feeling, it's okay to not stay the full amount of time. And so just to kind of tell yourself that I'm going to go, I'm going to stay as long as I can, or I'm going to stay an hour. And that's what I'm committing to. But if I do more, great. But minimally, I'll do an hour. And if I'm not feeling well, I'm going to politely excuse myself and leave and go home and give myself the time I need. So having that exit plan and having the time, down, and not feeling compelled to go against that boundary that you set for yourself, and feeling guilty or shameful for doing that, knowing you need that self-care because it is a difficult time, and honoring that is really important.
That is a Great plan. What can we do if we're a coach or we're a gym owner? What are some things that we can do to help our members during this time?
I think keep an eye out for changes in behavior. If you
Mm,
start to see any major shifts in mood or behaviors that are not indicative of your members' typical behavior, that might be a sign that someone's experiencing or getting ready to go through something, or maybe being triggered by the holidays. So paying closer attention to that and being very attuned to your members' needs is really important. And if you see it, make some time to pull them aside appropriately after class. Hey, I noticed this. You don't seem like yourself. What's going on? Anything you want to talk about? And just being that person that can be there to listen. Also, be prepared, because if they do say something that's a little bit on the heavier side, that as a coach, there's a line there. So you want to be prepared to give a resource where it's needed, and not have to take that on. There's lots of times I've talked with coaches where they're like, I feel compelled to try to save this person, or, I take that home with me. And we want to keep those boundaries, because that's too heavy for us as coaches to take that home. It's not the burden for us to carry. We need to learn
mm,
to observe and not absorb, is what I tell
mm,
people. And you're there to observe, you're there to validate, you're there to listen, but you're not there to take their stuff on. And having a resource available can make you feel, as a leader, more comfortable and confident in holding that boundary for yourself, because you've given them something helpful, and you've said, hey, this would be a great opportunity for you to talk more about that in a safe place that could be really helpful. So, you know, really consider checking this out, and then maybe do a follow-up in a week. Hey, did you get a chance to follow up with that? How are you? And then I think we're doing our due diligence as coaches.
You talk a lot about having a care provider list. Like, hey, here's
Yeah.
some resources so that you have some professionals to um, refer people to, because there are going to be boundaries. Let's talk a little bit about that difference between mindset and mental health coaching. When you come across this, like, what is the line that we shouldn't cross as coaches, as gym owners?
Yeah. So I think what I illustrated was a great example of that. When someone starts to talk about their personal stuff and gets really specific into maybe, family dynamics or relationship issues that they might be experiencing. We're not equipped as coaches to be providing therapeutic advice to people, how to raise their children, and, different interventions and things around that. So that's going to be where you want to hand off to a professional, and why it's so important to leverage relationships. We talk about the importance of leveraging relationships with other healthcare providers, physical therapists, medical professionals, chiropractors. Mental health professionals are no different, and they should be part of that resource list. If anything, given the uptick in mental health issues, I think it's even more important to have those people as a resource at the top of the list. And that might be a great time that I would give someone something. Mindset is going to be more around like some of the typical things we talk about. Hey, we're getting ready to do this workout. How's everybody feeling today? Where's your mind at? This is the intended stimulus. Here's where I'm looking to see you, attack this workout. Did you eat? Did you sleep? Take a minute to tune into that checklist of needs. Where are you feeling? Where are you at? Where's your mindset at? That's going to help you play a major role into your decision of how you're going to, do this workout. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe you want to treat it more of an active recovery. Maybe you're feeling real good and you want to push yourself a little bit. We're looking at that window of tolerance, or that psychological capacity, to then correlate with their physical capacity in terms of where they're at, currently in their athleticism. That's mindset work. Feeling your athletes out, where their minds are at, helping them to navigate that hour and make it the most beneficial for them, not pushing them past their psychological abilities, because maybe they didn't sleep well or they aren't in a good headspace. Being able to be attuned to that and help them make a good decision is more of the mindset work we're talking about as a coach. We cross the line when we start trying to give therapeutic advice and saying, hey, here's how you're going to fix your marriage. That's not our
Mm,
place.
mm-hmm.
Being judgmental, like, how could you stay with someone who would do that to you? That's not our job as coaches, is to be judging and, trying to help people fix things.
You had said something to me at one point when we were having, maybe it was a podcast, maybe it was one of the speaking events that we've done together. And you're like, Nicole, validating, hey, that sounds really heavy. Have you ever considered talking to someone about that? And just leave it,
Leave it.
simple. Here's a provider list. Have you ever checked that out? Here's some people that we know, we trust, that might be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit. So we are hosting a webinar. Let's backtrack. Gym owner burnout. What are you seeing? Coach burnout, people just in general in your practice, burnt out with the profession that they've chose, changing professions completely. What are you seeing in general with burnout of people and professions?
You see burnout everywhere. It is next levels of burnout, which is really scary. But what I'm also saying is that those people who are doing things in a way that really fall in line with the mental fit pillars that we talk about, it is amazing to see the shift. So I don't think we are doing enough for ourselves. I think that there's still this holding on to guilt and shame that if I do something for myself or if I take time, one, my gym will crumble without me, right? As gym owners, which speaks to a whole nother issue. Not having a team and maybe even your own stuff that you're projecting out there with your own anxieties of over control. So there's a lot that goes with that can burn yourself out. And we could dive into that in and of itself with regards to burnout, boundaries. I mean, you name it, that I think a lot of gym owners and coaches are facing. And when we're not doing the things for our self-care, we're not paying attention to a lot of those things that we're talking about, we're just going to see a decline. And it doesn't happen from 0 to 100. It's a steady chip away. But because we're on autopilot, we push and we push. And we think we have this capacity that is so great. And unfortunately, there's a window of tolerance, and most people are not attuned to where that lies. And we fall into this like hypoarousal or this hyper arousal states that go beyond our window and take us to next level stress. And we're just not made to handle that until we just crash and burn. And then we're selling our gym and we're ruining relationships, or, all kinds of things are happening as a result of it. And unfortunately, it's taking to get to crisis mode before we're willing to do something about it, which we can do intervention, but there are a lot of times where unfortunately so much has happened and it's too far in that people are not willing to let go of all that's happened up until that point. And they're choosing things like divorce or, closing their doors or whatever it is. So I'm really, on this advocacy bandwagon, I'm sure as you are, of trying to prevent that. Let's not let it get that far. And I hate that for people. I really do. It's very heartbreaking because I see it sometimes, in the gym or even in, my practice of people. And it's not impossible to come back from, but it's a lot more difficult if we get there.
It's interesting you talk about capacity. And I think for every person, it's a little bit different with all the other stuff that you've got going on or you don't have going on. And I think it's easy with social media and even at events, like to compare yourself how's my gym doing compared to everyone else? Or, I'm not constantly feeling like I'm at the place that I want to be. And it can easily cause you to overcommit, overstrain, and then we're at this place of burnout. So I'm excited about this webinar. It is for anyone. So gym owners, send it to your coaches. Like, this is important for them. You want your coaches to be super engaged and not getting burnt out. We want a super fulfilled team. It is going to be on November 2nd. Super pumped about that. The link to register for that will be in the show notes. Anything else coming up for you around gym owner, coach burnout, or anything that we've discussed so far?
No, I'm really excited for the webinar and to dive a little bit more deeper into gym burnout. And you'd be surprised. It's simple and yet it's so effective, but it's the little things that we are letting go of that is creating the problem to begin with. And it's interesting that you mentioned social media. I have a lot to say about that, and I plan to talk about that because it is such a false reality.
Mm-hmm.
People have you seeing what they want you to see when they want you to see it. That's the craft of social media. And, I have some tips and thoughts around that I've learned through, mentoring, and how important as gym owners it is to be a part of mentorship and collaboration, and how it will help keep you away from that false reality and more focused on what you're doing in front of you, not looking out here, but looking right here and staying focused on what you're doing and what's going on with your gym. Don't be distracted by what other people are doing.
I love that. There's a lot of things that we have coming up together, which I'm super pumped about. One is we released this mental fit and mindset course. Actually, CrossFit HQ announced that it was approved for 7 CEUs during the Gym Accelerator Summit last year. And we have made a few updates to the course, one specifically around our mutual clients. So people that are with HSN Mentoring that go through that mental fit and mindset course. One of the things that came up was, hey, I want to do a challenge. I want to do an individual coaching program with this in there. Can you build something in the app? So you came down to South Florida. We made a ton of app videos that are going to take the other pillars of the Healthy Steps Nutrition Framework, but also mental fit. So every single week, there's at least one mental fit video, which is going to be really cool. Super pumped about that. And even sleep and mental health and the other pillars of both of our frameworks, actually, we're tying it all in. So excited about 12-week program, 28-day challenge. Now, those programs built out in the Healthy Steps Nutrition app are just going to be for Healthy Steps Nutrition clients. But for people that are taking this course that are not a part of the HSN mentoring family, we also have created a workbook with activities and some extra resources for them. You just don't get access to the app and all of the tools and resources. So we are super excited to release these updates. December, I think 15th is the date that we are releasing them. Anyone who has taken the course previously will get access to all of the updates. Anyone that enrolls after will have access to all of this. This course is 7 hours, 26 modules, goes through mindset, mental fit framework, prioritizing mental health for yourself, your staff, and then your client. So really giving you a framework to start with you. We're the leaders of our tribe. We need to start with ourselves and then build from there to ultimately make a really great impact. So the course is live, ready to go. You're going to be coming back to the Gym Accelerator Summit. Your breakout session last year had like 70 people in it. That was incredible. You're going to come back where you're going to talk about building resilience for yourself and for your members. You're going to do one of the keynote sessions, and then you're also hosting a breakout session too, which we're super pumped about. And then we've got this webinar. So lots of things coming up for you.
I love it. It's so much fun. It has been a blast. So thank you for the opportunity as always.
Yeah. Any final thoughts as we wrap up today?
I think that, this has exactly been the missing piece for what people have needed. The feedback so far from people who have taken this has been, thank you. And thank you for talking about something that no one's been willing to really talk about, especially in this space, and bringing this to light. And I've been really nervous about it, but I know how important it is. And I love that. And it just shows how much of an opportunity, one, exists, and two, just where we're going with it. So, mental health is near and dear to my heart. And I love that we've been able to find something that has been helpful to take the gym experience, particularly what we've done with CrossFit, to the next level. This is something that no other industry has ever done in the fitness realm. And we're seeing how much of an impact it has made. And so I'm super excited for that to continue. And the goal is to keep spreading that good word and reducing stigma and taking mental health into the light and out of the shadows. So thank you for helping me do that. And I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. You have a really unique lens. So for people who have not been connected with you before, you're a licensed mental health practitioner with many years of experience and also a gym owner, also a coach. You guys use HSN at your gym. Like there's a lot of pieces that make you specifically have a unique lens to combine mental health, physical health, CrossFit training into a holistic coaching experience. And you walk the walk. Like, your gym is absolutely incredible. You have lots of different things going on, ultimately in support of people achieving health through physical therapy, through, you have a massage therapist, you've got nutrition, you've got mental health, you've got the CrossFit, you've got all the things really just combining to give people the tools and resources they need to become the best and healthiest versions of themselves mentally and physically.
And that's what it's all about. It's an integrative approach. That's how we live well, we live free, is through our mental and physical freedom. And that's exactly what we try to do here.
I love it. Thank you so much for all that you do. Excited about this webinar on November 2nd to talk about preventing gym owner and coach burnout. Again, the registration link is going to be in the show notes. You can register to attend live, or you can catch the recording, but it'll be cooler if you attend live. And we're excited to have you back at the Gym Accelerator Summit again in Nashville, Tennessee. That's a live event, April 18th to the 20th.
Best event of the year.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr.
Nicole.
Christina. Gym owner and coach burnout is a real struggle. We have such a passion for helping people, and sometimes it comes at the cost of taking care of ourselves, physically and mentally. If you are struggling, please ask for help. You can always reach out to Dr. Christina Migliara. If you're noticing that this is a gap in your gym and you're looking for more help to prioritize mental health and mindset inside of your gym, click the link below and you can learn more about the Mental Fit and Mindset course. This is the first only course that is approved for CrossFit CEUs all around mindset and mental health. We would love for you to take it. While there are extra perks and programs in the Healthy Subs Nutrition app, if you're an HSN mentoring client, you do not have to be an HSN mentoring client using the full HSN mentoring program to take part in this course. So click the link below to learn more. And of course, Dr. Christina is going to be at the Gym Accelerator Summit. Just a reminder, this is our annual event in Nashville, Tennessee, April 18th to the 20th. It is already 50% sold out. If you are looking to gather together with gym owners and coaches who are really prioritizing health and wellness inside of their gym, this is the event you do not want to miss. We would love for you to join us. Click the link in the show notes to lock in your spot today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Next week, I'm so excited about our guest. We have Athena Perez. She actually wrote a course on helping understand how to coach people with larger bodies. She has lost a massive amount of weight herself, and she talks a little bit about considerations that you should be thinking about if you are looking to expand your services or be a more welcoming environment for larger body athletes. So excited to have Athena Perez on our podcast next week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that episode.